Rod Stewart's £300,000 Glastonbury loss raises larger questions about the music industry. At 80 years old, Sir Rod Stewart remains one of Britain's most iconic performers. With a career spanning 6 decades, his recent appearance at Glastonbury Festival should have been a triumphant celebration. Instead, it has sparked a fierce debate, not over his performance, but over its price tag. According to Stewart, performing on the coveted Sunday afternoon legend slot at Glastonbury cost him a staggering £300,000, a sum he willingly absorbed. For most, that figure is unthinkable. For Rod Stewart, a multi-millionaire with a global fanbase, perhaps not. Yet, the decision to play at such a significant loss has raised eyebrows far beyond financial circles. Critics argue that in doing so, he may have inadvertently let down the very heart of the music industry, working-class musicians. If Rod doesn't get properly paid, one voice commented, then what message does it send to the stars of tomorrow, or to part-time musicians who spend every spare hour honing their craft? A music industry rife with exploitation. The concern isn't just about Stewart's finances, it's symbolic of a wider issue in the industry. Musicians have long endured the exploitative underbelly of the business, rogue promoters, predatory managers, and a culture of underpayment masked by promises of exposure or experience. In recent years, a new norm has emerged: playing for free, or worse, paying to play. Festivals, particularly charity-linked events, are a perfect case in point. Across the UK, you'll find local pubs, sports clubs, or online communities advertising beer and music festivals, for a good cause. While these events are often enjoyable and bring communities together, they are also highly profitable, for venues, breweries, and vendors. Yet the artists? They're usually left with little more than a handshake, a pint, and a polite thank you. The practice is so widespread it's often viewed as standard. A free beer and a sandwich are considered payment. Meanwhile, the actual costs of performing, equipment, transportation, rehearsal time, lessons, maintenance, remain the burden of the artist. The cost of chasing dreams. It's easy to think that Rod Stewart's £300,000 loss is worlds apart from what we experience as part-time musicians, says one local performer, but pound for pound, the impact is very real. £100 to me is probably more meaningful than £300,000 to Rod. Music isn't just a passion. It's an investment. Instruments don't come cheap. The upkeep, the years of practice, the hire of rehearsal spaces, even just the petrol to get to a gig, all of it adds up. And yet, too often, musicians are asked to sacrifice their time and money in return for exposure. In Rod's case, at least the exposure may translate to album sales. For a lesser-known band, it rarely translates to anything tangible. Adding to the irony, playing under the influence, once glorified in the lore of rock and roll, is neither sustainable nor safe. Free beer is meaningless if you've got to load up gear, drive home, or show up sober to the next gig, another artist notes. The illusion of glamour. There's a tendency to romanticize live performance, particularly at massive festivals like Glastonbury. The cheering crowd, the lights, the prestige, these moments are unforgettable. But behind the scenes, a harsher reality looms. Meanwhile, smaller acts don't have the luxury of such decisions. They can't downsize their band to pocket a larger share of the fee. Many don't receive a fee at all. The bigger picture. As the government touts the UK's music industry as world-leading, the reality on the ground tells another story. Without structural change, we risk bleeding talent dry. The joy of music will remain, but the means to sustain it may vanish. If artists, both famous and obscure, continue to devalue their work, even unintentionally, then what future remains for the next generation? Rod Stewart's Glastonbury loss may not bankrupt him, but it shines a blinding spotlight on a system that routinely underpays those who bring it to life. The solution? A cultural shift. One where art is no longer expected to be its own reward.